Hey guys, I got a good video today. It's all about proper communication, specifically how we leave good shift notes. So shift notes are wildly important. It's a good way to communicate with your team to keep everyone in the loop with what's going on. You can communicate the good, the bad, the ugly. You can also communicate to your managers the things that you're working on. That way when you're not in the building, they can implement your changes and the things that you're trying to impact. So when I do my shift notes, there's always 5 things that I'm going to put in there. These 5 things, when you put it in every single shift note every single day, is going to help you stand out amongst your peers. It's going to help you get to the next level. It's going to communicate that A, not only do you know what you're doing, but B, you're very, very involved in making an impact every single day in your operation. So if you stick around to the end of this video, I'm also going to give you one bonus tip. It's also something that not a lot of people realize that they're doing and they don't focus on, but once you start focusing on it, you're gonna see huge growth. So every single day when you're working, you should be teaching your employees something. So at the end of the day when you're leaving your notes, have at least one thing that you taught someone else. This job is all about passing information onto someone else. So we want to show in our shift notes that we're actually doing that. Something that I like to do is I like to do a side-by-side with my employees at least once a shift. I like to mise en place at least one dish out, have it nice, organized, have everything perfectly measured out. That way I can go through the recipe and I can show a cook why the dish isn't coming out correctly and the steps that he needs to take in order to get the correct product. So when I'm doing this, I'm actually taking pictures of every single step and I'm attaching them to my notes. That way my boss and my team knows that I'm engaged and I'm doing the right thing and trying to positively impact not only the food, but my employees' experience with the company. The second thing I read about is what got cleaned. I'm not talking about, yeah, we're cleaning the grill because we got to do that every day. No, we're going to take on a special cleaning project every single day and we're going to take pictures of the cleaning project and we're going to attach it to our notes. Now here's the thing, if you want stuff clean in your restaurant, you have to communicate to your staff before the shift actually starts. No one wants to come to the end of the day and being told that they have a cleaning project to do. It's not fair to the staff. They're working hard and they want to get out. So you have to tell them before the shift starts. As soon as the employee walks in the door, let them know that there's going to be a cleaning project, tell them what it is. That way they can knock it out right away or whenever they have time. And by the end of the day, you already have your picture and they're going to be walking out the door and you have something else clean. But if you wait until the end of the shift, they're going to have an attitude and they're not going to want to do it. So make sure you communicate to your employee that you're doing it before the shift starts. An example of a cleaning project would be the dumpster area. Maybe it looks trashed. So something you could do is have your dishwasher go outside throughout the day, maybe spend 30 minutes out there detailing the trash area. That way your place in your establishment looks nice and clean. That would be an example of something that goes outside of the norm of the day-to-day cleaning, but is still positively impacting the business by having a great clean area. The third thing I'm going to put in my shift notes is something that I see that needs to be fixed. This is going to be a bigger problem that I can't accomplish by myself without my team's support. An example of this might be a hierarchy issue. Let's say I go in our cooler and I notice that there's ground chicken above whole chicken breasts. I can't just make that switch because if I made that switch, I'd have to update the prep sheets, I'd have to update the inventory, I would have to update my labels in the cooler, I would have to update my order guides. So for me to just do that switch on a shift would be kind of a hassle. So what I would do is I would communicate in my notes that I see this problem and this is something I'm going to be working on and trying to figure out throughout the week how to get it done the right way. Now for step 3, it's very, very important that we do not just communicate problems. We want to have solutions. So if I were to come in with a problem and saying, hey, I see ground chicken above whole chicken, it doesn't do me a lot of good and it doesn't do the team a lot of good because I'm not offering a solution. So when I'm writing my note for something like this, I'm going to say, this is the problem, this is my plan to fix it, and by this time we should see a result. Step number 4, I'm going to be writing about a financial impact that I had. A well-established kitchen should have communication about financials. If labor is too high, you need to cut people early and you need to communicate that you're cutting people early in your shift notes because it was slow. Maybe you're missing a lot of heavy cream from your previous inventory. So what you're doing on the line is you're validating that all the utensils with heavy cream have the correct utensil in the pan. Or maybe you're doing a side-by-side with a prep cook with a dish that uses heavy cream. Whatever the case is, try to figure out what KPI you're not financially hitting and find a way to impact throughout your shift. Leave notes on it and take pictures and attach it if you can. The last thing I like to do is I like to praise somebody. I like to give a compliment to one of my fellow managers, or I like to identify hardworking employees either in the front of house or back of the house that are working very, very hard, and I give them a shout out in my notes. I always want to finish my notes with a positive. So by complimenting maybe a server that's been in the kitchen running food or giving a shout out to a front of house manager that jumped on Fry to help put up fries because we were getting slammed in the kitchen. Whatever it is, I like to end on a positive. So I hope that helped, and as a bonus, I'm gonna give you one more tip for writing good shift notes. Now this is something that someone brought to my attention and I didn't even realize I was doing, but once I realized what I was doing, I was able to make a change, and I really saw an impact in the way that people treated me and respected me. So here's my tip. You have to realize that this is a professional document, it's not a diary. So first, you do not have emotion in your shift notes. You say, this is the problem, this is the solution. We're only talking facts, we're not bringing emotion into this. You never say things like, I think, or I want, because honestly, no one cares what you think and no one cares what you want. You're a manager now, so you're the subject matter expert. So you have to convey confidence in your shift notes. You have to stand by what you're saying. You are no longer the student, you are now the subject matter expert. Once you realize that and you stop saying things like I want or I think or something that makes you seem unconfident or unsure, it's going to hinder your ability to move forward because people aren't going to be taking you seriously. So it's very, very important that you realize this is not a diary. You are the professional, you are the expert, and you need to convey that moving forward. Alright guys, I hope that helped. I hope that was a good topic and you learned something and found value from this video. If there's anything else that you add in your shift notes, please leave it in the comments. I would love to hear it. And if you found value in this video and you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. It goes a long way of helping me out to accomplish my goal to positively impact and support kitchen employees around the country.